Welcome to the Mushroom Kingdom. Just kidding.
Hello and welcome to my kitchen here in the college dormitory. Today we're going to be talking about mushrooms and fungi and how great they are in the kitchen, both for you and for me, economically and nutritionally. And to do that, I'm going to be making sourdough Shittasiago bagels. If you've never heard of that before, it's because I made them up. It's a recipe of my own invention. Could be a dumpster fire. We're going to find out today and learn about fungi along the way. That's the plan. Are cheese, fungi, and bagels compatible? Let's find out. Start off the sourdough journey. We got this guy here. This is the hero of the sourdough story. This is the sourdough starter. And it gives bread the power to rise and fall like the sun and moon. It's pretty cool. This guy is the Vincent van Gogh, the Hercule yeast, the Ferment the Frog, and Ferment the Frog just sounds really cool to me. I want to make a band called Ferment the Frog. It sounds great. But that's a story for another time. Right now we're talking about sourdough.
So what a sourdough starter actually is, it's a mature yeast colony fed with flour and water. It's actually kind of simple to make. It just takes time and a lot of flour and water. So important to note here that yeast is actually also a fungi. The yeast most commonly found in commercial bakeries' arsenal is known as Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which I might not have pronounced correctly, so it'll be on screen right now. And this one is a unicellular fungi. And in addition to making bread rise, they are also pretty useful in making supplements because of their rich protein, B vitamins, niacin, and folic acid, which again will be on screen. Then moving on to wild yeast, which is what I'm using for sourdough and stuff like that. It's thought that the more common version of wild yeast is Saccharomyces exogeus, which I don't think I said right, but it's on screen right now for your enjoyment. And since it's a slower acting yeast, it actually breaks down gluten in that really long fermentation process because it takes way longer than commercial yeast. But because it breaks down all that gluten, it's really easily digestible and like easy on your digestive system. So some people who are gluten intolerant or have a gluten allergy can actually eat certain sourdoughs. It depends from case to case, but commercially yeasted bread is what really aggravates the gluten allergies.
We take our friend, the sourdough starter that I just showed you. We got our bread flour and some water, and we feed that and combine it all in a bowl, mix it up, and that's what we call the leaven. Also sometimes called a sourdough pre-ferment. And then we gotta wait 3 to 4 hours. Cut away. Cut back. That was a joke. It actually already happened. I did that earlier in the day, like 3 hours ago. Here we go. Dough time. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that leaven from earlier, combine it with some honey and some water to get it all dissolved and stuff, and then build the actual dough itself with all the other stuff that we've done, including this grated cheese. This is the Asiago for the Shittasiago bagels, although I couldn't actually find Asiago cheese at Trader Joe's. So this is Asiago cheese with rosemary and olive oil, which will make it either seem fancier or make it not taste very good. But hopefully it'll be the first one.
Now I get to introduce you to the second fungi friend of the day. These are shiitake mushrooms, known scientifically as Lentinula edodes, spelled like this, probably not pronounced like that. Mushrooms are actually the reproductive part of fungi, similar to how fruit are the reproductive parts of flowering or angiosperm plants. So in a way, the mushroom is kind of like the apple of the fungi. Kind of cool. And as I prep the shrooms here, as you're seeing, I'll hit you with some scientific facts about why mushrooms are cool and great for culinary consumption. Shiitake mushrooms can help improve immunity, and they are high in dietary fiber, B vitamins, copper, selenium, manganese, and iron. They have also been used in medicine. Shiitake mushrooms grow on decaying broadleaf trees. That's a fact I wanted to share just because I love trees. I'm going to saute these mushrooms to try and bring a little bit of extra flavor in the dough. Bonus fact alert! Did you know it's basically impossible to overcook mushrooms? A normal human in a kitchen or at a grill is going to have a really hard time messing up the texture of a mushroom. Seriously, you'd have to violate the Geneva Conventions to overcook a mushroom and change its texture. Shrooms are made of a sturdy structure called chitin, whereas plants and meats are not. Meats can harden up from overcooking, and plants can go really mushy, but the mushroom will pretty much stay the same texture. You might be burning it though.
So now the next step, we're going to add all the bread flour that we need. We're going to add the cheese, some salt, and the shrooms, and we're going to mix it together, and we're going to get the final dough.
So now, as I'm building the dough for your enjoyment, I'd also like to talk about the exciting future of fungi food. One of the most cutting edge and exciting vegetarian proteins in development right now is fungal based. As a nerdy vegetarian, this is the weird stuff I get excited about. So I'm going to talk to you about some 3 companies that are doing this fungi based food thing. I'm talking about Find Foods, Meaty Foods, and My Forest Foods, which was previously named At Last Foods, all of which are fungi based. So some of this started when researchers found fungi living in the hot springs of Yellowstone National Park that showed promise and was named Fusarium strain flavolapis, which is a very fun word to say. And it often gets referred to as FI, shorthand for Fusarium of Yellowstone. That's where the FI comes from in Find Foods. And part of what makes FI so great is that it is a complete protein, similar to many meats. So that means it has all the right balances of amino acids that our bodies need and can't produce on our own. And FI is also great for the environment because it is way more efficient and less land intensive, uses way less water than most other protein productions. It's way better than beef. Beef is incredibly inefficient. And it's also even better than peas and soy, which is pretty impressive, because those are plant-based proteins that are pretty effective as well. As for the other 2 companies, they both rely on the mycelium, which is the root-like structure of the fungi that we don't often see. When people hear fungi, they think mushrooms, but mushrooms are just like surface-level thing for this big old root system below the ground. And once again, that fungi is incredibly efficient at turning nutrients into protein. It can greatly reduce the impact on the environment when compared to meat and even some plant-based alternatives, all without sacrificing our nutrition. To put that in perspective, Meaty Foods says they can grow the meat equivalent of a cow in roughly 4 days using this fungi mycelium technology, which is pretty darn cool. So, if you ask me, the future is looking pretty fun, guy. That's another pun, I'm sorry. Now the dough is finished, so we wait a little bit. Hello again, welcome back. We're on to the next step, which is the shaping. For this step, I'm going to be shaping the dough into logs and kneading the dough out. Shaping into logs is sort of reminiscent of the logs that shiitake mushrooms actually grow on. Isn't that kind of cool? For this step, all you need is love. Because you get it? Because I'm kneading the dough. Okay, that was a bit cringe. Now the bagels have gone through the first shaping process. They sit here for 30 minutes. Hello again, welcome back to Shaping 2 Electric Boogaloo, this time with more bagel, where I'm going to shape these into bagel shapes. And for that reason, I have a question. What do you call a store that only sells bagels? Pause your viewer now to think about that. The answer, Whole Foods. Get it? Because bagels have a whole... Okay, that was a cringe joke again. And I'd also like to take a moment to specify that I am in no way sponsored by Whole Foods Market. I worked there very briefly, and it was not even for making bread. I was an in-store shopper, and I'm very bad at finding things in grocery stores. So, on to the shaping. For this next part, the bagels go in the fridge forever. They go in for like a really long time.
Welcome back. It's been about a day since last you saw me. We're here. These are the bagels. They didn't rise as much as I thought they might, but hopefully they've risen enough and they'll be good for the boil. So here we have boiling water, to which we are going to add baking soda and one of the sweeteners, either honey or agave nectar. That's what it's called. Okay, so now we're on to the boil phase, one of the most fun phases if everything has been going correctly. Don't know if it has, hopefully it has. Alright, oh man, this is sticky. Hopefully in a good way. Let's see. Oh no, I don't know if is it floating? Is it floating? Oh, are you floating? Yes, success! Oh man, they're floating! I'm sorry to be so excited over something as dorky as bagels, but they're working. It's working. I was so worried, but we're making it. It's working. Will it taste good? I don't know, but it's working at the very least. Success. Still success. It'll be missed. Oh boy. Oh no. Structural collapse on one of the bagels. Okay, big reveal. Whew, hot. Look at that. There we are. Quest for Shittasiago bagels.
They look like bagels.
Here for the bagel taste. You can definitely taste the rosemary. But it's not bad. It tastes pretty good. This is the bagel that broke apart during the boil phase, but it still tastes good. So, success. I think we made it, folks. So thank you for joining me on the Shittasiago bagel adventure. Hopefully you learned some fun things about fungi and how great they are for cooking. Make bread rise. They're really sustainable. A lot of them have essential proteins and nutritional stuff that's really helpful. So yeah, fungi, team player when it comes to cooking. Yeah. Take care out there, eat more mushrooms. Hope you enjoyed.